Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint some colorful Christmas trees in the forest. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, buddy.
He's man in chat tonight for this video, so you can ask questions. Let's get started. Alright, so I've pre-prepped my canvas. Welcome, glad you're here. If you don't know about our channel, we're doing these live streams every Tuesday night right now. It's 2025, so right at the end here. But been doing these for over 10 years now, I think, live on Tuesdays.
Pretty close.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe. But anyhow, got tons of tutorials, really fun stuff, and this one's going to be really fun. I'm going to try to break it down for you and make it really simple for beginners. And welcome to those watching this live. Glad you're here with us. For the canvas, I'm using an 8 by 16 inch canvas, but you could use it on a more rectangular canvas, normal size, and just kind of scrunch your trees a little closer together, overlap them a little bit, and that'll be fine.
And you can use a 16 by 8 also, correct?
8 by, yeah.
You have to turn it on the side.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
It's going to be one of those nights.
Okay. I'll try to keep my train of thought. You're going to want a fan brush. I prefer a stiffer bristled fan brush, like a hog bristle or the Aspen faux hog bristle ones. The select ones are pretty good too. It's weird, the select fans, bristle fans, kind of turn into a synthetic as they get past the smaller size. So this is a 10-aught and this one's a 4. The 2 is also kind of this sort of synthetic material, but they're all kind of stiffer bristles. They work better for me for pine trees. The softer bristles like this one in the Umbria are better suited to grasses and things like that, like really fine bristled. They don't hold as much paint, and we're going to be, loading these trees up with paint. An angle brush would also work, so I've got like an angle bright here in this Aspen short-handled that'll work too. So in fact, I'm probably going to use this mostly because I kind of prefer having a little bit more control. Fan brushes can be kind of unpredictable, and then you can also grab a blender if you have it, or just a stiff bristled Filbert or something that can do some of the snow and things in the background, and then you'll just want a liner or a smaller round to do some of the tree trunks. Okay, so that's it for brushes. Pretty simple. Actually, we'll need a bigger one for the background too, now that I say that. I lied. All right, so I'm gonna grab a larger Filbert here for the background, just to fill in back here. All right, as far as paints go, we're going to do a limited palette. Because we're doing a rainbow, I don't want it to get too garish, so the way to avoid that is to limit your palette and mix your primaries to make your other colors. It'll make it more harmonious, and it'll be a prettier color scheme overall. So I've got burnt umber, well, this one's actually Quinacridone burnt orange. You can also substitute for burnt sienna if you don't have that color. Quinacridone magenta. This one is cadmium red light. I was putting out a little bit of the pyrrole orange to show you the difference. They're very similar. So if you don't have the cadmium, use pyrrole orange or something similar that's a bright red, bright orangey red. India yellow hue, or any kind of warm yellow, cadmium deep or something like that. Even cadmium yellow medium would work. Green gold. This one, it can be mixed with yellow and phthalo green, so if you have that color, you can substitute it. Cobalt teal and phthalo turquoise can also be substituted for phthalo blue. All right, and the cobalt turquoise is phthalo turquoise with, or cobalt teal is phthalo turquoise with white or similar to. Okay, so that's my palette. Unbleached titanium, titanium white, and some satin glazing liquid. All right, hopefully that was clear. I went through those pretty quick, but they're all listed in the description if you need to know the spelling of quinacridone, because it's I get people like, what did she say? I've never heard that. All right. That's it. All right, for setup. So the background is a color called light orange. It is a pre-mixed color, but it's basically white and phthalo orange, or no, I'm sorry, pyrrole orange, and a little bit of yellow, bismuth yellow. So it's like a tiny bit of yellow, some sort of an orangey red, like the pyrrole orange or cadmium red light, and then lots and lots of white. All right, and that's our background. It could be any color, yellow, orangey color though, so don't get too caught up of not having this exact color. It's not going to matter. We're painting over it. It's just to kind of add a glow. So any kind of pink or orange or yellow will work as a substitute. All right, I think that's it. Let's get going here. I'm going to first just kind of mix up our background color. I want it to be sort of a soft white, maybe tiny bit bluish tint to it. So I'm going to grab up some of the white, and to make our blue, we're going to use our cobalt or a phthalo turquoise. I'm sorry, not cobalt, phthalo turquoise. And which one of these do they guess? The orangey red or the magenta to make blue?
I would guess magenta.
Yes. Yes. And why is because it's closer to it on the color wheel. If you imagine these colors going in a wheel here, these two on the ends are closer to each other than this one is to that one. So
Aren't you supposed to throw a candy treat over here? Or something?
I know.
Right?
So I'm going to do almost 50-50 here. No.
He's a good boy.
Good job, honey.
Thanks.
You've been watching long enough. You should be picking up some of this, even if you don't paint. He does. He knows.
My
I think
reasoning
you know more
was
than
that it probably had some kind of a blue tint in the pigment.
what?
I said my reasoning was it had some kind of a blue tint in the pigment. That's why it would do that.
The magenta.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's closer to blue than it is to orange. All right. So there's my dark blue. That's the only dark blue I'm going to be using, and I'll probably use it for this purpley tree. I might add a little, or actually the blue one here. And so let's go ahead and add. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Isn't it amazing how you don't have to have blue there to get a really lovely kind of navy blue? And this will be a really pretty color for us to use in our trees and things. I might add just a tiny bit of the Cobalt Teal to make it a little bit more greenish. And I'm just going to mix this whole thing in with it. Okay, so that's kind of a nice blue for our sky. It's a little too saturated, which means that it's just got a little too much color in it. So I'm just going to dip into it. It's actually looking pretty purple, so I might need a little bit more of that turquoise as I go. So I'll probably dip into that cobalt teal as we paint this background. So I'm going to grab white, and I'm just going to touch into this to grab some of that color. And I'm going to start by grabbing just a little bit of the cobalt teal, and then I'll grab some of that. All right, so now we have a really nice white. It's got a little bit of a tint to it, a little bit of a bluish tint. It might be a little bit too much color still. But I'm just going to kind of brush it on and leave a little bit of that background color showing. I'm using the Filbert number 8 from the Aspen series. It's going to be a nice big surface, and it's stiffer bristled, so I can kind of scrub with it here. And I'm just going to go kind of up and down. You see how I'm not going side to side. The side to side is going to kind of ruin the tree line effect. So I want any streaks to look like that they're intentional, that maybe we have trees back here, or something like that. So doing it kind of up and down will give us that tree tree line effect, and I don't want any hard lines here, so I'm just kind of brushing down and letting it sort of disappear. Sort of keeping my brush in this upper area here and just going like this all across this area, right? Not really pulling it down. I'm going to get more just white. Okay. All right, so that looks pretty good. And I think I'm going to do about 7 trees, kind of split up. There's 7 main trees and then maybe a couple of the smaller, more whitish trees below. But we'll do the burgundy, pink, orange, yellow, teal, blue, and purple. And you can use any colors that you wanted to, as long as, you know, they look good together. I would pick like either have more of the cool colored, this one has more cool colored, starting with the teal and over, like a little bit more than half of the canvas is going to be those colors, and then the warmer colors are kind of a little bit less. I might move one of these over or kind of split them up a little bit, and so they're not kind of just straight in a line. I don't know, haven't decided yet, but that's a thought. Okay, and so down below this initial tree line here, I want to start, so down from about here down to here, I want to have a little bit darker color back here for my, behind my trees. So I'm going to get some of this, and I'm going to get some Cobalt Teal. This is that color that I mixed, and I think I'm just going to use that. I think this color will look okay behind most all of our trees. I might go in, you could go in and change this color for each section. So do, you know, pink behind the pink trees and whatever, but I think this is going to be fine. We just mainly need to get the value correct back here. So it doesn't really matter as long as we get this color just a little bit darker than our background and darker than our lightest areas of our trees. So we'll put in our kind of darker values as we go. In here, and go almost all the way down to the bottom with this. What?
Can you tell us again what the mix was for your background color?
Yes, it was the Phthalo Turquoise and Quinacridone Magenta with white and a little bit of Cobalt Teal. If you don't have the Phthalo Turquoise, you can use Phthalo Blue instead for that. It'll just use less of it, maybe. Phthalos are very saturated, and they kind of take over mixtures pretty quickly, so you just have to kind of keep an eye on that. And so I'm just kind of trying to make it look foresty, like, I don't know, you know, not getting too specific with this in this background area. And if you want to, you can come in and like carve out sections for trees and do individual trees. Like I could use this mid-tone color here and kind of do a few little tree shapes back here, and I might do that. Just some random. And again, you could do this in different colors if you wanted to. I'm not gonna get too into the colors yet. Just keeping it kind of random. But something like that. And then sort of in this middle area, just sort of do it solid. Because by the time we get in this middle area, it's going to be mostly trees. So yeah, that looks nice. Honestly, you could do a whole tree just like this with these kind of soft pastel colors. It'd be really pretty. I thought another idea would be to do them with like metallic colors. So you could do like a bronzes and browns, yellow, golds and things, and then go over the top with like metallics. I did one kind of like that like years ago, but it might be an idea for next year. As long as nobody steals it. Don't steal it. We all will know. I'm sure somebody else has done it already. Okay, so going a little bit darker as we go down to the bottom there. Picked up a little bit of this blue. Okay. Oh, there we go. Nice. All right, then at this very bottom area here, I'm just going to get a little bit more of my kind of whitish color and maybe some of the Unbleached Titanium in white. That'll be kind of a warmer tone. Maybe do that. Just kind of do some side to side. Now this is where we want to do side to side, because then that will kind of mimic the plain ground. All right, trees up and down, ground side to side. I don't know why I'm teaching this like I'm teaching to kindergartners tonight, but that's okay.
Because I'm in here.
Somebody needs... breaking it down. I'm just explaining the why. All right, so there we go. Lovely. It's already looking sort of foresty. I like it. And again, you don't have to cover up all that orange. You can leave a little bit peeking through here and there. All right, so let's let that dry. While that dries, we'll mix up our colors for our trees. So we've already got kind of a purpley blue here. I'm going to do a little bit more. And I'm going to clean off my palette too. Well, let me think. Yeah, I'll use this. I'm just going to wipe it down because it's wet, so it should wipe off pretty easily. This is a glass palette, if you were wondering. Makes it easy to kind of clean off as you go. All right. I'm going to get a little bit more of that phthalo turquoise there, and some of the magenta. This time maybe not as much magenta, so that we're getting a more of a true blue. This one's kind of more purple. It's still looking kind of turquoisey. There's kind of a magic point. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this burnt sienna or burnt orange mixture. That will also help. Okay, let me try a little bit of white with that. If you want to know what your color is, just kind of add white. Okay, so we're still in that turquoise realm. Just trying to add that slowly. It's probably too much magenta there. Maybe not. Okay, this is going to be our blue tree, and if you don't want to mix this much, you can just, you could just do add a blue to your palette, but okay, there's a lovely blue. I think it's going to look better to just mix our own blue. So that one's blue. And this one will be down here, will be our purple. And we might add a little bit more magenta to it to make it even more purple. Okay, so we've got two blues mixed there. I'll add white to it as I need it, but I want it to stay fairly dark for right now. And I'm just going to scrape up this magenta and whatever's left on my palette knife here and mix it with this purple that we had over here. Okay, and you can notice that I'm scraping it up and then kind of pushing it down to keep that paint puddle as small as possible. It will dry out less fast that way. And then for the turquoise one, I'm probably going to go with mostly just turquoise and maybe just a little bit of the burnt orange. The burnt orange will kind of neutralize the turquoise, make it a little richer color. Burnt orange or burnt sienna, either one. You would do the same thing with phthalo blue, makes it teal when it's mixed with burnt sienna. Okay, that's really nice. And then we'll add that cobalt teal to it. We kind of just made a little mixture with the cobalt teal. Okay, that's nice. Now, the green gold is not in our reference, but I do want a tree that's kind of in that green gold family. So I think I'm going to mix green gold with the turquoise and see what I get. Probably going to get kind of a brightish green from it. Yeah, kind of a nice deep green. And then what we can do is use the green gold as our highlights on it. Okay. So that's going to be maybe one of the smaller trees. I don't want it to be one of the big trees, but I think I'd like a little bit of regular green in there. And then let's do our yellow. So the yellow tree, I'm going to mix the yellow with the burnt umber and burnt orange to make our, well, probably didn't get all that green out of there. Oh well. So it's going to look kind of brownish. It'll have that yellow in there, but it's going to be brown. And I might add just a little touch of the Cadmium Red Light, and that will brighten up that brown, make it less dull. It'd be a prettier undertone for our yellow. We kind of have to go fairly dark on this. It's going to look like brown more than yellow, but that's okay. We'll highlight it with plenty of brighter yellow. We just need to kind of a nice dark undertone there to start with. And then our yellow, we'll mix that with white. Kind of 50-50. And we should get a nice bright white, yellow, light yellow. Yeah, that yellow oxide or India yellows just makes such a pretty yellow when you mix it with white. It's just a nice golden yellow. It's transparent on its own, so you have to add the white or it won't cover anything really. You can use it to glaze over stuff, but like transparently, but if you want to cover, you have to add white to it. Okay, so that'll work with those two, and we'll kind of make a third color out of the two together, probably. And then let's add our, we'll do one tree that's kind of orange here. I'm going to make sure I'm spraying these while I'm mixing them though, so don't end up.
It looks like you got some trees there on our blue towel that you're wiping off.
I do. It's funny.
Like a forest going there.
Yeah, I got my own forest going over there. Okay, so one of the trees is going to be mostly magenta, I think. And then I'm going to add some burnt orange to it. That will kind of create that sort of warm, almost magenta or almost burgundy. And I'm going to add just a little bit of that phthalo. See, oh, that's pretty. Nice, pretty burgundy now. All right, perfect. It's amazing to me, when you get like colors out, I would highly recommend you just experiment with different color schemes. I used this exact color scheme, that Phthalo turquoise and India yellow with magenta, just those three for a painting, and you really can do, like I probably could have done without the bright orangey red. It makes a slightly duller, but it does make an orange. Like you can make a blue and an orange from just those three colors. So, get out your paints and mix them outside of your tutorials or whatever, outside of when you just have a few minutes to spare. And, just pick 3 different kinds of colors. They don't even have to be exact primaries. Like that's not a blue necessarily. And see what they mix, see what other colors you can get. Sometimes you'll find some really cool combinations with colors you don't expect would make, who knew that this was going to make blue. All right, I'm going to do that and get a little bit of that burnt orange again. And that's magenta and burnt orange. I actually don't want to add white to it quite yet. I'm going to mix those two together. And then if I want a darker version of this, I'm probably going to have to add some burnt umber to it. So I'm going to take some of it and move it over here, and then I'm going to add burnt umber to the magenta. Get a little bit more magenta here. And that'll be my dark for my magenta color. Could also use black if you had black out on your palette. Black works well for reds to make them darker. That'll make a nice, rich, brownish, like a warm dark for our pink tree. And then trying to get this without getting that blue in it. It's got a little bit blue, but that's all right. And then I'll mix it up here. It's nice. That orange, that burnt orange in it and the burnt umber in it kind of tones it down. You see how nice that pink is now. It's not like a bubblegum pink. It's just like a really nice muted pink. If you want it more bright, just don't add the browns to it. But I kind of like having that kind of muted version of it there. I kind of like that forest we got going on here. Like the placement of it. Might use that for my painting.
It's a 2-for-1 sale.
I know. And then I'm going to get the red and add just a tiny bit of magenta. That'll kind of make it a little bit more true red. And then we'll add some of the burnt orange to it as well. For a dark version of it. Okay, and that value is pretty light still. So may end up having to add add some burnt umber just to darken up the value. And I'm going to add some more of the magenta too. Okay. So it's like a darker reddish color for our deep areas of our bright orangey tree. And then for the light areas, I might add just a little bit of yellow to that. To that cadmium red and mix that together for a nice almost salmon peachy orange color. If you want it more salmon color, you can add more pink to it. But I think that's going to look good. Okay, believe it or not, that's going to be okay. To remember that placement.
Hey, do you know?
Hold it over on itself there.
Do you know why Christmas trees are so bad at sewing?
Bad at what?
Sewing.
No.
Because they're always dropping their needles.
Oh gosh. Get rid of what?
Oh, I got to get ready for that so I can do the little
Oh,
drum roll.
sound effect. All right, I think we're ready to paint. Let's do this. All right, so let me show you just the basic tree shape, no matter what color. We're gonna do a center line, and then it's gonna grow upwards at the top. So the first couple branches are gonna kind of go upward like that. Oh, let's zoom in a little bit, hon.
Okay.
They're really far away.
Incoming.
There we go. Thank you. All right, so first couple are going to go out, and then as we get down to about right there, like the upper quarter maybe, then you're starting to go kind of more straight out. And if you want to, the first kind of layer can just be sort of placing the individual branches, but remember the branches are coming out at us too, so they're going to start to kind of fall down, so you're going to start to see some things like this, like where they're coming down, and especially in the middle. And then just continue leaving space every now and then. And getting bigger and bigger. And depending on how wide you want your tree, just kind of have sort of an imaginary tree shape in your head. And sort of just keep your branches sort of in that general area. As they come down, they're going to come down straight. So like at the very bottom, you're going to have like a whole layer that is sort of coming down in the middle and then out as they sweep out to the sides. And maybe that layer is going to get a little thicker too as they come down. We're going to do this with the paintbrush, obviously, but just wanted to kind of give you a general idea of the shapes you're going to be shooting for. So something in, oh, let me turn this off. There we go. Something in that region. This looks pretty stair-steppy to me, so I probably would break it up by, making some of these closer together, putting in, some branches like that are mid-sized that break up those shapes so they're not looking too same all the way up, And that's more natural anyways. Random is the way to go. All right. Don't know why that is looking so... disappeared on me, so I'm going to have to do this myself. There we go. All right, so let me get out a different pencil. I don't know why I used the lightest pencil I had. I was going to use it on here, but then I didn't. All right, so let's mark out where we want our tree. So I want my biggest tree right here, I think. And then we'll do the other one pretty close to it, maybe here instead of there. I have a little bit more room to play with from this background is dry, by the way, so. And make sure we're keeping these paints wet. I'm using water here to just spray them because we don't want this to dry out while we're doing this other stuff. It's easy to kind of forget. I'm very ADHD when it comes to certain things, and I will forget, and do there and there, and then maybe a couple smaller ones here and here, maybe a small one here, small ones, big one. Okay, so there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's do a 9th one in here. That's our bigger size. So we got the tall teal, yellow. So let's put our green one in here. Maybe we'll move this teal one over a little bit, or just put a green one in kind of out of. I did say I wanted to mess up the order of them a little bit. So we could do like a darker teal over here, maybe, or darker green here. And what were you saying?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking that it's kind of in that rainbow kind of a theme.
That's true.
Red,
Yeah.
orange,
So if
yellow,
you want to
green,
keep it even.
Going in that spectrum. Kind of.
Right.
It is artist choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're a little too like evenly spaced. I didn't intend to do that, but that's kind of how they turned out. So I think I'm gonna try this over again and move them. Try to get them a little bit more randomly placed. So I still want my teal one to be like here, I think. And almost all the way to the top of the canvas there. And then I want its size to be like in here. So that'll help me know kind of where to place my next one. So we'll place the blue one here and have it be a little taller. And then have the other tall purpley one here. And then we'll have kind of a green one somewhere in here. Maybe small. Let's do a small one here. Okay, and then maybe a little baby one here. Okay, then our yellow will be there, orange kind of overlapping it right there. Big pink one all the way to the top. Dominant and magenta, and then a couple smaller ones. Okay, I think that'll work. Let's do that. Right. Yeah, I think I'm going to just use this. This is my Ankle Bright. I can do my lines with this too, my tree trunks with it. So I'm going to, and if you want to, you could put like other tree trunks down there. I don't think I'm going to do that because I feel like these trees are far enough away. I'm not like really defining them. So I'm not going to worry about that, I don't think. But you could, like the reference has, kind of lighter colored tree trunks in the background. So my yellow one's the farthest back. Let me start there. I just want to start from back to front. And I'm going to start with this dark color. I'm going to add some of my lighter yellow because it's going to probably show up okay against this back here. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so I'm just going to tap and tap side to side a little bit, and then start to pull down. I think I'm going to put my tree trunk in after I paint these. Sometimes I do it first, but since this is such a light color, especially with this yellow, I don't think I want to do it first. I think I want to do my main areas of the tree, and then I'll come in and add my darker colors in and stuff. Okay, leaving plenty of lighter colors in there. I'm going to get some of my darker colors now. And I'm going to go in with that and kind of just pick sort of think about where the overlapping might be happening, like where the branches above are covering. This is where you're putting this color, is the kind of areas where the tree is overlapping itself, tree branches. Okay. And you can see I'm kind of just fading it out. I'm not trying to over define anything. Just gonna kind of, your eye's gonna, if you did you could do a cone shape and it would look good, like I have my whole house filled with cones right now, the Christmas trees, they're abstracted, so you can do this as abstracted as you want. It's still going to read as a Christmas trees, so. All right, so that's my first tree there. I think that's about all I'm going to do for now. I'll probably come back in and add some snow and stuff later, but for now that'll be good. And then let's do our orangey color next. So let's get our kind of mid-tone with a little bit of the white. And that might be a little bit too dark, so I might get a little bit more white there. Just tap it first to get those first few little branches there. And kind of do my line there just so I know sort of where I'm aiming to. Make this one a little skinnier, just so it doesn't crowd out that yellow one too much. Okay, and get a little bit more of the deeper color. Come in and mark out just the sweeping kind of side to side brush strokes here to get that feeling of those branches coming out. And make sure they come straight down every now and then. Mostly in the middle. You're going to have as you go out from the middle line, you're going to start sweeping out like that. All right, I'm going to get the lighter color and go back in again. Okay, fun. I probably could bring these down a little bit more. But I guess we'll have tree trunks here, so actually I think I want to put in the tree trunks now before they get too tall. So I'm going to use the burnt orange. That's why I put the burnt orange on my palette instead of the burnt sienna, because I wanted to use it for the tree trunks. So use the burnt orange. You can add a little bit of unbleached titanium or titanium white, and if you don't have burnt orange, then use Quinacridone Magenta and burnt sienna to do this color. try to do this straight up and down here, and I'm just skipping areas. There we go. Probably do this first. I don't know. I think this is, or do it from the bottom up, like, I don't know. Here we go. Yeah, cute. All right, so let's pick our next trees. Our pink one here, I'm just going to go ahead and sort of lightly mark. And if you want to, you can do side branches too if you want, but and I'm kind of leaving the bottom sort of rough. I'm not going like straight across with it. That'll make it look a little bit more natural too. All right, and let's go ahead and do this one while I got this color. And this is our big teal one. I think I'm going to move my big teal one over just slightly. Well, no, I guess it covers it pretty well in the picture. Oops, got a little crooked there. Okay. And also kind of varying the placement of the bottom, you know, like making it farther down in some and farther up in others. I can fix that later.
They're not on the same plane.
Right.
Just as it is in nature.
Exactly.
Do you know how Christmas trees get ready for a night out on the town?
They put on their tinsel.
They get spruced up.
Oh gosh. That's good. Sneezy. That one got a little crooked there, didn't it? Oh well. I feel like we need some Christmas music. I think we need to be blasting Christmas music for this one. I wish we had the money to pay for the royalties for that.
I mean, there's got to be royalty-free, you know.
There is some.
Generic Christmas
There is some.
music.
Yeah, there is some. I just
You want me to sing for you?
no. Yeah.
Christmas trio,
No.
Christmas. No.
That probably is one of the royalty-free
Are you sure?
tunes.
'Cause
It's an old one. All right, so I think before I overlap that one too much, I'm going to go ahead and get my white and my yellow, my light yellow, and do some light white highlights on the yellow tree. This will help. Oh my gosh, what is going on with this brush? My paint palette, I sprayed it so many times it's got puddles of water everywhere. I'm gonna wipe that off. So I have a clean spot to mix. It doesn't have water all over it. What?
I guess you're leaving me some open space to continue with my great entertainment.
Yes.
So where do the young trees go to learn to become Christmas trees?
Where?
Elementary school.
Oh Why?
You should be ready to paint criteria. That's all I'm saying.
I don't.
You're giving me the opening, so.
I am not a dad joke person. I don't get it. Don't get it. Every now and then they're funny, but 99% no. Oh, jeez. Keep trying though, hon. One of these days.
I might have to say it again because I don't know if my mic was on.
Uh-oh.
Everybody got to enjoy it. Somebody has to let me know in chat. I didn't have my headphones on.
You didn't have your mic on?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm waiting for somebody to tell me if they heard that banger.
They weren't missing much.
What?
I'm gonna wipe this off here. It's all wet. Okay. Now I've got some clean spots here where I can dip in and my paint won't get so soppy. I got paint all over myself, especially with this white background. You want to keep your hands clean because this acrylic paint sticks to itself, so it'll come off your hands onto the canvas if you touch it with dried paint. Okay. What time is it? Okay, we've got an hour. Need to hurry. Get that yellow. Get some white. When you want to add white to something, start with white and then add your color to the white. Don't try to add white to your color, if that makes sense. Because the colors are going to overpower the white and you'll end up just wasting all of your white for a tiny little bit of... Don't need that much of this color, so I don't need to waste all my white paint to get it. Yeah, so see, just kind of a lighter highlights here and there. This part is going to be under the teal tree, so I don't really have to worry about it too much, but a little bit of this in the middle especially is going to show, so. And you can always come back in with your darker colors too and put in another layer of those if you need it. And then if I wanted to brighten up that tree, I can go in with my straight India yellow, which is transparent, so I can anywhere where I put that lighter yellow, it'll make it brighter. Okay, so I think that's good.
Your biggest fan has arrived.
Noah, hi Noah. Painting Christmas trees in different colors tonight. This is my granddaughter.
And she was painting along last week.
Yes, she was. They painted nutcrackers last week with us. Very pretty. Okay, going in with the pink now, the pinky orange color here with the white. And let's add some highlights. Okay, that's good. All right, let's do this blue here. And maybe this green here too. So I don't think I want to go full green like this. I think I'm going to go kind of add some more of that teal to it. Maybe even add a little bit of that blue. There we go. So this one is going to be this kind of a darker tealish blue, and I'm going to maybe add a little bit of green gold to some of the highlights. Or I might just use the green gold on one of the smaller trees. We'll see as we get going here what we think we need to do. We get a little bit of white just to tone it down slightly. Okay. Now you're going to see some of that branch through, so you may have to go a little thicker in some spots to cover the branch. Okay, cute. Well, let's go ahead and do this purple. Here. Add a little bit of white, but keep it pretty dark. Again, let me show you with the fan brush. I haven't showed you how to use the fan brush for one of these, so. It's going to kind of change the whole look, so I'll do it on paper because I want these all to kind of, have the same feel. Just sweeping out side to side here and trying to kind of create layers.
I see what you did there.
What?
You're sitting there completely silent. And then as soon as I leaned in and turned on my mic, you started talking to keep me from...
Oh, really? From telling
entertaining.
jokes? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that's what you were doing.
Right. Well, it's not going to stop me.
Okay.
So what was the Christmas tree's favorite subject in high school?
I don't know.
Trigonometry.
Nice.
Oh yeah, the banger's going to keep coming all night.
Okay. I think we should have a vote in chat whether you should keep them coming. I don't think I'm in the minority here. Getting some of that light purple here. Good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're loving it. Oh gosh. They're scared of making you mad or hurting your feelings, I think. I have no such qualms. After how many years?
After 40 years, you're like, whatever.
Right.
Oh, another correct answer could be geometry.
Oh. Nice.
That one's from Patty. See, they're all getting into the spirit.
All right. I'm the humbug. Okay, I get it.
See, they're getting notepads out. They're writing these down because they're going to be telling their grandkids.
All right. I'm worrying about you guys, but that's all right. He's a bad influence on you. That's all I'm
New
saying.
reason to tune in on Tuesday nights.
He's a bad influence on you all. Okay. What was I going to do here? Oh, blue. Okay.
What's it gonna do?
Yeah. I was like, what is going on here? All right.
We also have chemistry.
Oh,
So, I mean, these people,
they are all in it.
they are all in.
Nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, before I go too much further, let me go ahead and do it this pine tree with this one's probably a little bit big, but we'll try it. Okay, so I'm trying to pick a color. I've already got a bunch of this, so I'm not going to need any more of this color, I don't think. Not going to be a very pretty color for it, but here I'll add a little green to make it more tree-like. Okay, so for the fan brush, it's a little bit easier to control it if you have a little bit more water in your paint. This may be too much water, we'll see, but so I'm tapping in just kind of on the corner. I'm not kind of doing the whole thing. So however, either up or down, it doesn't matter, but and then as you go to the side, you can kind of just hold it. Once we kind of get down to this part, I'm going to hold it like this and kind of just do these little tapping and sweeping. Sort of just hold it side to side. The top part's the trickiest part with the fan brush, just getting that little bit going upward there. And then as we come out here, it's a little easier. And like I said before, you could just kind of go in and sort of do this first and sort of just mark out your borders, so just kind of do your main shape. And then, oh, sorry, I was holding it kind of down, huh? Sorry. Sort of holding it in my lap. Okay. And then come back in and sort of add your individual little branches once you get kind of your shape in. And this is not a bad way of doing it. So it's definitely faster than doing it with a brush. I just kind of like the hand painted feel of doing it with the brush. I like it feels a little bit more chunky. The needles are kind of a little chunkier and stuff. So I just kind of like that look. And then go in and, fuss with it. But that's your fan brush look. So it'd be a little bit less like this, like I got much thicker branches here with this version, which is just what I prefer for this project. So again, do it whichever way you like. You'd layer them the same exact way with your colors. So
Okay, this one in from the chat.
okay.
What is a Christmas tree's favorite candy?
No idea.
Ornaments.
Ornaments. Cute. That's cute. Alright, so added green gold and just a little bit of this original background color. I'm just doing this so that when I do my next color, it's going to be behind it, the blue. And how are we doing on time? Okay, we're good. I kind of want them to be My dog. Oh. Are we done yet? That's what he's saying. Kind of want them to be just close enough to the like that background is not showing, you know. So I'm gonna do this a little bit wider on this side just so that it's covering, and I don't want to go too much into the tree there. So I need to leave some of that trunk showing on this. I'm kind of filling up all my space there. Let's go ahead and bring it down. Okay, that's nice. All right, and then I think I'm going to use this blue and a little bit of this purpley light blue here, which was the background color here. I'm just going to use a little bit of it before I get too much farther, and go across under all these, just very messy side to side little. Make sure I kind of get up into the back area there. It'll be dark behind them, so just make sure we got some, and then we'll come in front with white, but that'll help ground them a little bit so they don't look like they're floating in space. Much better. Okay, I'm gonna get that darker blue and just come in here and add some really dark little branches. I'm going to spray these, but only once. Hopefully. Okay. Just looking at my branches and mainly just kind of looking to see where I think, you know, there's going to be a branch coming out over. That's where I'll put my highlight color, and then make sure that I have the darker color kind of underneath it. So get that whitish mixture with some of that blue, the lighter blue. And so I'm just going to go on top of the dark areas and try to leave a little bit of that background color showing through too. So just tapping. The snow kind of clumps up. It almost looks like fingers where it comes down. So you can, I might get a little bit of white and show you what I'm talking about. A little bit of the blue with my white. And so find my clump of lighter area and come just to where that it meets that dark, and kind of pull down little fingers. That's still pretty wet, so I'm kind of having to go pretty thick with this to get it to cover, but you see. Like that. Okay. And I'm going to get that green gold with my white. Do it on this one. The darker trees, you don't have to do as much of the lighter snow, but it looks nice, I think. And, you know, if you wanted to do it back here, like we could take some of this background color that we still have, and you could kind of do some little bits to make those trees look a little bit more tree-like if you wanted to. Also on those background trees, now that we've got them in. This is the just slightly lighter version of what we already had on them. I think I just went on camera on there. Whoops. You get the idea. It just helps break up that background color. And I think that having highlights on there will help too. Maybe just doing some white. Just break up the silhouette a little bit.
Do you have a tutorial where you go into a little bit more about how you're holding the brush and movements and doing the tree shapes?
Yeah, I have I did a, trying to think of which one it was. I know I have one where I showed different trees. I'm holding it pretty far back though, you notice. That helps me from getting too fuzzy with my brush strokes. Makes them look, keeps them kind of natural. So, okay, that looks good. All right, let's do our burgundy one over here. Burgundy, get a little bit of white. I feel like it might have been one of our basic series. Did I paint some pine trees in the beginner basics? Maybe that one that I'm thinking of. I'm not sure if it's the Patreon one or the one I did on YouTube, because I have two kind of.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on.
Because I have one.
You did one last year.
Of that one. I don't know where that's from. Or I showed the different trees. Yes, it is. It's probably on the short that he did for it. He did a short for it, I think. That's the problem of doing this for 10 years. They all run together in my brain after a while. They're good and bad. If you go to my website and search trees, though, you're bound to find a pine tree tutorial. Oh, I am fully off the camera here, hon. That whole tree. Okay, so just pulling down. Sweeping side to side. It's literally just little sweeping motions. Tap, tap, tap in the middle, kind of pulling down. And I feel like I explained it when I first started doing this. If they might have missed that part, because I showed it on paper there, and when I drew it, kind of explaining the placement of the branches. I don't love this green one in here. Maybe it'll look better once I get the teal one on. I'm gonna mix a little bit of this purple with the magenta here. Use that for my dark areas of this tree. I'm gonna keep this tree fairly dark, I think. Okay, that's good. This will be a little white tree. Let's do our pink one. Gonna go ahead and go in with the mid-tone pink. Okay. See the little bits of color that I'm letting seep through there. I'm going with the kind of mid-tone color here first. And then we'll add our darker color in. So mid-tone color is going to be the one that you want the most obvious. Okay. Yeah. All right, starting to get there. Might lighten up this blue tree a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. After I get the teal one, it'll be easier to tell what we need to do to make, adjustments. I'm gonna get the darker version of this pink. Start putting some of that in. Again, try not to go sort of straight across all the way across. So kind of do a little bit in the middle and then maybe skip up here and do a little bit and then, you know, skip around with your shadows, and that way it won't look like your trees have stripes. So shadow, 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 you know, skipping around a little bit instead of going straight across, shadow all the way across in lines. And then getting the darkest. Okay. Might not need that super dark in very many places. Can get that lighter color and kind of blend back over. Now this is my light pink. So I did the first part with the kind of mid-tone, then the shadows, and now we're doing the light colors, and these are going to go right over the top of my dark areas. Your lightest and darkest areas will be the most contrasted, or the most, you know, right up next to each other. Gives it the most contrast, most depth. Okay, nice. Yeah, it's starting to get there. I'm going to get a little bit of this lighter magenta and give it some highlights. Or what is this? Burgundy, not magenta. I don't know what I'm talking about. What color is this? Brain. Catch up to my mouth. Got the art brain. All right, that's nice. Yeah, and the lighter pastel colors will help unify it too. So it'll help kind of make everything sort of go together. And I think what we can do too is glaze once we get these all dry on here. Like what I can do here in here is like take some of this glaze and some of my yellow, India yellow, and just come in behind it, around it, and kind of hit some of these behind and in between areas with a little bit of this yellow to tint it. You see what that'll do is kind of make that yellow sort of blend in to whatever's behind it. And we can do the same thing with our pink here. So in between these two, I'll take a little bit of magenta. And just work it in behind, in between, coming up into the sky even. This is just very transparent magenta here. We can use it down here. Just using it around these pink trees, in between a little bit maybe. Make sure you wait for it to dry before you do this, but this will help. Remember I said we could paint the background with whatever color is behind it, or, you know, paint the background in with the colors of the area, but this is an easier way of doing it. Just paint the background sort of a neutral color that'll blend well with everything, like the blue, and then we can glaze in our colors around it once everything's in. And now that area is kind of tinted that pink, and this one's tinted the yellow. And I can go as dark as I want here with this pink and really kind of add a lot of it. And then I think I'm going to add it to this side too, because that'll kind of pull this color over here. So over here I'm going to add some of this magenta. This is just water here. It's going on really dark over here. Well, I guess because that was dry and that wasn't, maybe. I probably just have too much on my brush. Before it's dry, though, we have time to adjust it. So I'm going to get some just paper towel here with wet and just kind of pull off some of that color, push it around. And this is a way you can apply it too. It kind of gives you a little bit more control. So instead of using the brush, you can kind of put it on a paper towel or something. And yeah, so now that's really nice because it's got this color over here. And we'll put a little white tree over there too, behind it. All right. Nice. And over here, I think I'm going to use the teal or the turquoise color for this whole area here. So let me go and do that before I do my turquoise tree, and that'll be easier to control where it goes. So just a little bit of turquoise. Lots of glaze. Or water. If you don't have glaze, just use water. It's fine. It won't bond to your canvas all that well. So if you ended up like doing something where you needed to like wipe something off on the background, you might pull off some of the glaze areas because, you know, if it's not adhering to the canvas fully, it might pull up a little bit, but usually it's going to be fine. I'm pulling it all the way up and just kind of hazing out that background, those background trees too. This is the turquoise glaze, and we'll go into our yellow area. It's going to turn it kind of orangey with that, or green, I mean, which is fine. All right, this is nice. Yeah, that helped a lot. I don't know if you remember before, but it was looking like a little harsh to me, and this really helped a lot. It just kind of like, it just softens off all of these areas in between our trees and makes them kind of go together a little bit better. All right, let's keep going here. Get our turquoise one done. It's our last big one. So I'm going to get that mid-tone turquoise. This is a little bit more blue than the one in the picture, but I did do this green one, so we'll see. We may decide we want to go a little bit more green than this. And this is already, I can tell, it's like very going on really translucent. So I'm going to have to add some white to it. And just a little bit of green just to make it more minty. Okay, that's good. This is kind of almost our lightest color here. There we go. I don't know, you may not like the kind of more painterly style trees, and if you don't, just use your fan brush like I showed you there and do these with the fan brush. It's all good. I hope you do take these and kind of make your own versions of them. You don't have to do the colors I chose. But again, I think if you're going to do different colors, I would highly recommend mixing your colors from a limited palette. That way they'll look better. Doing a rainbow can be tricky, or any kind of, and changing any kind of colors can be a little bit tricky if you're not well versed with color theory. You can end up with some funky color combinations that are not harmonious. So but I'm not saying that to scare you off from trying it. I'm just saying that, you know, maybe try your colors on paper first, or try to find a palette that you like on, you know, Pinterest or at the hardware store or somewhere, and then color match it with your paints ahead of time before you go to canvas, so that you know sort of what colors to use to mix those mixtures. And that way you'll get a little bit better results. I don't know what I did with that tree there. I made it really thick on that top. I don't have anywhere to go to fix it. Well. I think I made it a little narrow. That's the problem. Cute. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I like this one a little bit better now. Let me get some white. A little bit of water, just tiny bit of water. That's all you need. You don't need to dunk your whole brush in there to pick up water. So just kind of tap it, the tip of it into your water to pick up a little bit if you're starting to feel sticky. Mine is getting kind of sticky feeling. I like it. Okay. And then I'm going to get my darkest bit of turquoise, maybe add a little bit of this lighter color to it, and just use it a couple places. I kind of already have a little bit of this in here, so. Okay. Nice. I think I'm going to use a little bit of the highlight color in this tree here just to tone that down just a little bit from that brighter green. Okay, that's better. All right, and let's do like a really light millennial pink here, maybe with a little bit of orangey tone in it. And I need to do some highlights on this pink tree too. What in the world did I get all of the hand?
Well, while you're doing that, what do Christmas trees get when they're sick?
I don't know.
Tinselitis.
Cute. I've honestly been thinking about tinsel is back in a big way this year. I see it all over my Instagram and Pinterest feeds, all the vintage stuff. But man, I remember those days. That was so messy, so messy. It's like I think it's all the 20 and
Cats
30
loved
somethings that are
It was all over the place.
30-year-olds doing it.
People throw away their, well, see, back,
They've not been there, done that. Like
right. And we had real trees, so kind of most of it went
Oh,
out with
man.
the tree, and it was a mess. And
Oh, yeah,
it
it
wasn't very
was-
good for the environment.
probably not.
But today, with all the fake trees
Yeah.
that are out there, I can't imagine trying to remove that.
I don't know. I mean, you just
You just
I would probably just wheel our tree into the other room.
you just burn it.
Thankfully, our tree has wheels. We did get a good tree a couple of years ago. Just burn it. That it actually flips up. It's pretty cool. It's on wheels and the top part flips upside down. Well, you take the top part off and then the bottom part flips upside down and you put it in a bag and store it. Which I don't really know why it has to flip upside down. I guess it kind of makes the branches go down, make it easier to
Right, it makes it compact.
more compact. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about a 8-foot tree, so the top 2 feet come off, and then
Yeah.
the bottom one folds in half, so it's only
Right.
about 3 or 4 foot tall.
I mean, it's not the first year where I've thought, yeah, I just wish that we could just throw a big tarp over the whole thing and just wheel it into the other room and forget about it for another year. If we had a big enough house, I would definitely do that, so I didn't have to redecorate it every year.
I can just build a temporary wall around it.
We'll just get a screen for the living room, just a big 8-foot tall screen.
Exactly, we'll just kind of box off that corner of the
Yeah.
living room.
Exactly.
You can hang some pictures on it, paintings.
Yep. All right, I'm getting my white here. I'm getting the kind of more fluid white. That'll just kind of make it a little easier to mix up. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this yellow and my light pink and make kind of a peachy, very close, similar to our background color. Marky, he's got a cold. He's kind of settled into his chest. I think he needs to go to the doctor. He's been coughing and keeping himself and me up at night for a few days now. All right, getting a darker pink to just kind of tap into the center of this tree. The main area I want to be this kind of light. It might be too yellow. I don't know. We'll see how it dries. I can always glaze back over it with a little bit more pink. That's cute. I like that. Yeah, pretty. All right, then let's do another one over here that's kind of got a little bit of this purpley tone to it. I'm going to use this same mixture and just add a little bit of purple to it. More white. It's too close to a background color. There we go. I don't have my tree trunk, so I'm gonna have to add that later. You okay, hon?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
It just catches me off guard sometimes.
I think you need to go to the doctor. If it lasts a few more days. All right, I'm going to use this burnt orange here and kind of put back in some tree trunks and some of these other trees here that I've lost. That one. Just some of the, get them peeking through there a little bit. cute. Yeah, I like the little white trees, or the little lighter tones. It helps to have like a really dark and a really light. Kind of balance out the composition a little bit. There we go. Kind of a mid-tone in there. Help give it some structure. This one, I think the trees behind it were dark enough that it's kind of holding its own, and it did dry more pink than yellow, so that's good. And all right, so I'm going to get a different brush now for the finishing little bits. I do want to add some highlights on our ground in front of our trees. So I'm going to get some of that millennial pink mixture here and just kind of highlight some snow. I just think snowbanks, you know, they kind of roll in and out. And then there'll be some areas that are close to the trees. Don't go too close to the trees with this lighter color. That looks good. All right. So for the I think I'm going to use the Filbert. Oh my gosh, what am I doing today? I'm making messes left and right. I don't even know how I did that. I think I got it. I have no idea. No, I did that a while ago. It's been there. It's all dried on my hand. It's probably all over one of my brushes. All right, forget it. It's so dried on there, it doesn't matter. All right, so I think we're just going to get just white and then kind of pick up just a little bit of whatever color is on the tree. So, you know, that pink color. That may be a little too much. This, we've kind of already done this on some of the trees, but I haven't done it in on my pink trees, so I need to get it a little bit. And if you wanted this to be more of a bubblegum pink, you could definitely use, you know, just straight up magenta on this, or even just glaze it with magenta, and it would really make it more in your face pink. But I kind of like this more muted pink. That's just my preference. So again, do you. Gonna get a little bit of white here on this little pink one, and just using this because I felt like it might give kind of softer rounded snow. Get straight up white on this one. It's got a little bit of that pink too, so that's nice. Over here, pulling that pink onto this side. Okay, that's nice. Let's do some on the teal tree. Again, just kind of a little bit of that original color, but mostly white. Keep it random. This is where your eye is going to be drawn, so you want to really kind of think about where these are going a little bit more than we've done with some of the other layers. This will be the layer that your eye notices, so kind of take your time with it. Stop every now and then, look at it, see if there's anything that really sticks out or you need to adjust. I'm going to get a little bit of that purple. I'm going to go a little bit darker with this one, just because that tree's a little bit darker, but still want it a highlight layer on this. Okay. The blue one's pretty much done, but I think I might add just a little bit more. Okay. And then maybe a little bit on this one. Get that pink. A bit of white. Again, like the purple, you don't have to go quite as bright, but still want it lighter than any of the other layers on the tree. Okay. Yeah, that's fun. I'm liking this. Okay, let's add some snow. So once you get this kind of pretty much how you want it, I might add just a little bit more to my orange tree here. I'm going to get a little bit of yellow in my white with my orange. And then I want some little yellow dots in some of the trees, so I'm going to get some, if I can get any of this white that's not dirty. No. Oop. Shake it up. Mm-hmm. Wipe that area off. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to go back to that angle brush. I don't know that I needed that Filbert after all. I think the angle was just as good after all. And get that and get some of the yellow. And just go a little bit lighter yellow, but I still want it to read pretty yellow, so I might actually just get the India yellow straight with the white. Okay, glob it on there fairly good. And I'm just going to dab little Christmas lights on some of these trees. If you go straight up and down, don't press too hard. I pressed a little hard right there. You'll get like little circles out of this brush. Okay. Trying to keep them pretty random. Go off the edge with some of them too. That's fun. So we'll do this and then we'll do snow too, so it'll be kind of a double sparkles for your money. I'm literally trying not to be too matchy-matchy with this, just kind of keeping it really random. All right, then get my fan brush and some of that white. I'm going to go pure white this time. No other mixtures in here. Probably did not need the unbleached titanium for this painting after all, so just FYI if you're... I think I used it for something, but I don't think I needed it for anything in particular, really. Okay, so just tapping once I get my brush loaded with very fluid milk-like consistency. I'm just going to tap it straight toward the canvas. And the harder I tap, the bigger and more will come off. And the more wet I have my paint, the bigger the snowflakes are going to be. So you can see some of them are really big. I don't think I want them that big. So the more thick the paint is, the harder it'll be to come off, and the smaller your little snowflakes will be. So you can also tap it on the paper towel to get a little extra off if you need to. So you can use a toothbrush too. The toothbrush will give you smaller, finer little snowflake splatters. All right, I like it. That's it. We're done. Right on time.
Great job, honey.
Yeah.
This looks pretty cool. I like it.
I do too. Yeah, I like how it turned out. Here, I'll do a quick zoom.
Manual zoom.
Manual zoom all across. Here, get the full effect of all the trees. It's fun. Probably could have snuck in if I had more time. Maybe snuck in another small, light colored tree, or maybe change that one to a little bit lighter colored tree or something. But I think overall it works. So I'm pretty happy with it.
You got time. I got nothing to do.
That's true. I got rid of our cable, so Mark can't ditch me on Tuesday nights anymore. I mean, I accidentally got rid of the cable. It didn't even occur to me that, no, it honestly didn't, but
So what did
Trying
the
to save
Christmas
money.
tree wear to the swimming pool?
I have no idea.
Its trunks.
Oops. Touch that. What did the Christmas tree wear to the swimming pool? Its trunks. Okay, that's cute. Cute. Yeah, and you can use a wet paper towel to kind of dab off any of the splatters or whatever that, if you got too much splatters anywhere. And I kind of like to wait a little bit too sometimes and then dab off some of them, and it kind of softens the look. I don't think I'm going to do that with this though. I think I'm pretty happy with it. I think it needs to be like full bright white to show up against this background because it's so light. So if I dabbed it off, you wouldn't be able to see them. So
It's those really big snowflakes.
yeah.
That just like globs of snowflakes falling. That's pretty cool.
Right. It makes it look a little bit more realistic. And you can also use a Q-tip and do like even bigger ones. And the Q-tips do kind of like a translucent look, which again, I don't know would work on this because that background's so light. Depends on how dark you got this areas. You could probably do a few of them in here, but those would be, a little bit bigger even still than these big splatters that I got. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for another tutorial. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't already. And we'll be back. Yeah, you can go to thankfulart.com and check out my other tutorials. I've got lots of Christmas ones, so if you're looking for Christmas ideas for paintings, for cards or ornaments and things like that, I've got a ton of tutorials there at my website. Just type in Christmas and you'll see them all. And also there's information there. You can see the Patreon tutorials that we've done and all that. So we're starting a new challenge one. Here I can show the reindeer that we just finished. This was a 6-week project. He's a big boy. But we just finished this one last Thursday. So that's patreon.com/AngelaFineArt is where you can see more information on getting the access to this and all of the other.
As far as I consume.
Yeah, no, I know it was tough painting it. Trust me, because I was constantly having to struggle to keep it on camera. But yeah, it was really fun. I really like how this one turned out, like the little lovebirds, bluebird couple there. But we're painting a 2-week project just to finish out the year, and then we'll take a 2-week break. So we got one more tutorial next week, right? Is that it? And
That's
then,
it. The Christmas window.
I'm not ready. Wow.
And we're going hard.
Yeah.
Going into Christmas.
Oh my goodness.
Just over 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Let's do this.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you enjoyed this project and hope you try it. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.